round without a care. Dancing, messy buns up in our hair. We're not bothered if you stare. We're dancing in our underwear. Dancing, moving round without a care. Dancing, messy buns up in our hair. We're not bothered if you stare. We're dancing in our underwear.
You're listening to Drag and Burlesque Diaries, where we celebrate the fierce, the fabulous, and ensure no performer is left backstage.
I spent so much of my life being told to be quiet, don't talk about that, nobody wants to hear about that. Like, so many times over and over again, the pattern has been just be quiet, just be quiet, just be quiet. And I finally got into this place where I'm tired of being quiet. I am tired of making everybody else comfortable while I shove it all down.
This is the first episode of the Drag and Burlesque Diaries podcast. And today I'm joined by my very good friend, Casey / Strawberry Squirtcake. She is the first person who introduced me at my first burlesque performance in 2015.
Was it Tuesday Teased or was it Glitter Bomb?
Yes, it was
Okay.
Tuesday Tease.
Because I remember you coming there before your even first performance.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
It's so
for
good
having
to have
me.
you. I could not think of a better person to have on our first episode, which will be coming out on September 26th. And we will talk about why that's significant a little bit later on. We'll save the mushiness for the middle.
I put makeup on today. I can't cry.
Okay, we'll try to keep it light. So, let's begin with that first performance. I am kind of wanting the audience to get to know me a little bit. Obviously, I want to get to know you a little bit too and talk about your art as well. Since you are the first person who introduced me on my first performance, can you tell me a little bit about that night from your perspective? And then I'll tell it from mine because I think it's hilarious.
I have little snapshots and bits and pieces to stitch together, and you might have to help me because obviously that through that time that we first knew each other, I was going through a lot of trauma. So there's a lot of memory gaps. So the little bits and pieces I remember one time I was hosting, and I couldn't recall if you performed at Tuesday Tease, but I remember you bringing your mom to Tuesday Tease and I was hosting.
Oh, I was performing.
I made some joke, some raunchy joke. I don't even remember what it was.
That was my first introduction. Was you said something about this next performer, something about my ass making you wet.
Mm-hmm. Yep, probably.
And my mother was in the audience.
Yes.
I was upstairs and I heard that, and I don't remember who was next to me, and I was like, my mom's down there.
And I think at some point I went over and talked to your mom because she was off in the corner on the side or something. So I'm ashamed to say that I don't remember what performance you did that night because the performance that sticks in my brain was your hippogriff from Glitter Bomb. Mm-hmm. That was the one where I was just hard eyes emoji, ooh. Yeah. So those are the bits and pieces that I remember because I think it was one of my first or second times hosting a Tuesday Tease, so I was a little bit nervous and I just was trying to just keep it rolling, keep it comfortable. Mm-hmm. Well, I think not for your mom, but
job. No, my goal in life is to make her uncomfortable. So
I love it,
and I think I'm doing a great job so far. Mm-hmm. Tell me a bit about your performance and art journey. Where did you start, and how has your creativity evolved and changed over the years?
Oh, it has morphed and changed quite a bit. Excuse me. I I've always been a performer. Like, it started, I guess you could say, I mean, I've always loved singing since I was really young and got into choir and performing and things like that. In about eighth grade, no, sixth grade, I had a teacher say, I don't even remember how she came about asking me to do this. Never met this woman before in my life, didn't have her as a regular teacher, but she was the theater teacher at my middle school. And whatever I had done, I think we were doing something like Shakespeare. And she was like, have you ever thought of doing UIL oral reading? And I was like, what is that? She goes, you just read things out loud for competition. I was like, no, but let's give it a shot. So she like privately one-on-one worked with me, and ended up excelling at some of those competitions, which drew me to theater and want to be in her class. Well, by the time I reached eighth grade and could do theater, she was no longer the teacher. But it still like just kind of took off from there. So it's developed over years of theater event experience. I worked backstage a lot. Realized I just lost my technical theater teacher from high school a couple weeks ago, and it really made me kind of reflect on the foundations of my performance. So I went to a performing arts high school as a musical theater major and a technical theater minor. And my technical theater knowledge is kind of what's carried me so far, because it's taught me how to use tools, how to build things, how to safety, make something out of nothing, just being resourceful, and all the things that that man taught me throughout years that I really needed a dad like that. It landed me all of my college scholarships. It landed me, I worked through college on grants working in the theater shop. And then I kind of throughout college, because I was working full time and working in the shop and doing school full time, I didn't have room for any other art. It wasn't fun for me. It wasn't rejuvenating. It wasn't necessarily exciting. I mean, I did a couple projects throughout college that I loved, but it got to a point where theater kind of disappeared from my life for a while. And a big part of that was the abusive relationships I was in, because doing anything for myself was taboo because it had to be centered around them. And it was just too difficult to spend that time not making money. So, during that first abusive relationship, I discovered Glitter Bomb and fell in love with it. And I was like, I know I can do this. I've been a dancer. I have done costumes. I have worked in a costume shop. I know how to sew. I know how to, like, I've been a stage manager and a director and it's just, I understood how I thought that burlesque was the culmination of everything I had done. Being able to be my own choreographer, my own costumer, my own director. It was great. I loved the autonomy. Mm-hmm. And then when I choreographed my first burlesque routine and showed my burlesque mom, who was Lilith Gray, and she was just like so blown away and impressed by my first shot at this, it got me hooked. I was so excited to do this, and it gave me confidence in a time where I was just constantly being beaten down at home. So I learned to love my body, because it's like whatever condition it was in, I was going to take my clothes off regardless, and they were going to cheer regardless. So like, how could I not? That was the one place I felt love and acceptance and everything like that. And as I journeyed throughout those traumatic parts in my life, it was a respite. It was a source of a lot of tension. And I think ultimately my second relationship with my ex-wife was, I think we fell in love with each other's performer personas and not us as actual people. So when we stopped performing, there wasn't anything for it to go on. And I just, because we both eventually kind of pulled away from the scene, because it was just so, we had so much enough toxicity at home that like all the toxicity that was happening in the community, like it just wasn't where I wanted to be. It wasn't where my wife wanted to be. So we just stepped back from it. And then as I've left, I've seen one burlesque show since I moved back home after my marriage, and I loved it. It was, my favorites, Chola Magnolia and Foxy Blue Orchid and Jasper St. James. And I adore them and I love them so much, but it is the only burlesque in town. And it's like 5 people of color that I don't feel right asking to be on that stage. If I want to be on a stage, then I think I need to create that space. I'm not interested in doing that. So I got really excited when I went to the show about like, oh, I'm going to do this Carmen Sandiego number and I'm going to come back hella strong and it's going to be Strawberry 2.0. I bought all the stuff for it. It's still sitting in a bag in my closet. It's too much work. It's too much effort.
I understand.
So like I did all the, I enjoyed the rhinestoning for a while, my craft, my art, and I still love to do that, but probably commissions only. Like it's specific projects. I don't want to like keep it open for a long time. Somebody asked me recently in my poetry space, which is where my art has now landed. They saw my rhinestone work and they were like, "Oh my God, what like got you into doing this?" And I just looked at them deadpan. I said, "Oh, trauma," and then continued to show them. Because that's really how I'd dissociate. I'd go home with this abusive relationship and I'd just sit and rhinestone for hours and hours and hours. And now that I don't have to dissociate like that, it doesn't hit the same. So all my craft stuff is I moved in here in January and my craft stuff has barely been touched. I have like 3 or 4 projects in the queue. I just don't feel inspired to do it. But I've also kind of been in this mode the last 4 years of survival, of hit the ground running. I have to restart my life over again. I have to find a consistent job. I have to, maintain my apartment, maintain my car, all these things that I had never done in life before at all. So my art kind of took a back seat until last year when I think one of my brother's exes, or my brother told me about his ex who did spoken word poetry. And so I went to that and started getting hooked, and I ended up in the top 10 in my rookie season. And so now I'm hooked on that. And this year my goal is to just be better than I was the year before. So it's kind of like I've always been artistic and creative. It's just morphed over the years. And I'm sure once I'm trying to like focus specifically on the school material, and because it's a lot of information to download. But once I get out and get under my own license, there's going to be a whole new level of creativity to that, because I can branch out. I'm under my own license now, so I can make those decisions about how to tweak my practice.
That's awesome. And I'd just like to say, as a observer of your journey, I have loved seeing the evolution of your art, and I love all of the poetry that you send me.
Good. I'm glad.
I hope to one day make a live performance.
That would be awesome. I would love to have you there.
Can you tell me about an event or season of your life that has most impacted your art?
I feel like I just answered that too.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I think that's what it was.
Basically kind of gave you the full picture there.
Yeah. Trauma?
Yeah, basically, because that's what's coming out in all of my poetry these days, because I spent so much of my life being told to be quiet, don't talk about that, nobody wants to hear about that. Like so many times over and over again, the pattern has been just be quiet, just be quiet, just be quiet. And I finally gotten to this place where I'm tired of being quiet. I am tired of making everybody else comfortable while I shove it all down. And like this whole journey of healing has been unpacking childhood wounds. Why do I do what I do? Why is that a pattern for me? I hate what I did to my wife. So I obviously want to reflect and make sure that that's not something that happens to somebody going forward, especially somebody who's super kind and doesn't deserve it. So doing all of that has kind of brought up is how I deal with it, is with the poetry. I write about, discovering these things and how they play into who I am as a person and how I'm not going to let it define me. So yeah, it's been trauma from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And I have really enjoyed watching you heal out loud. It's really been beautiful.
Thank you.
Honestly.
Along my journey, I've had I've had multiple encounters where me saying things out loud has inspired others to change their life. I've been told multiple times that people have had the strength to leave their abusive relationships because I simply spoke about mine. Um, or I have one friend who I met her. Her and her husband moved into the apartment across from my best friend. The same weekend, I moved home to San Antonio, or moved back home after my marriage. So we moved in the same weekend, and we had no idea that it was as abusive as it was, but she was a licensed therapist and ended up finally just like texting me out of the blue one day and said that I was the first person she told that she had made this decision and that that's what was happening, that they were getting a divorce. And then all the stories started coming out about the things she had experienced. So yeah, it's really important to me because I never know who's listening about it.
I understand. Is there a piece of art that you are working on or have finished that you are most proud of?
Two different forms of art, but the less recent of which would be some of my rhinestone work. When I show people my snitch shoes, or when I show them the purple pineapple jacket I made for Nate, or the white suit jacket that had roses all over it and I made it into a trans jacket. Those three are my favorites of my like rhinestone work. I'm so freaking proud of those. But more recently, I wrote a poem last week or not last week, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. A few weeks ago, I went to a writer's workshop and the prompt was safe means, or safe felt like. That was the prompt. I was like, ooh, ouch.
Already, yeah.
Yeah, out the gate. I was like, I don't like you. So what this beautiful poem came out of it about safe. It travels from safe felt like to safe became, and then safe now feels like. So it's this journey over my, as my friend calls it, my reclamation story. And it doesn't get into the like the messy webbiness of very specific examples from my traumatic partners, but it does it in such a way that you get the gist of the life I've survived. And it sort of walks you through that question of why didn't you leave sooner? It indirectly kind of shows like I was scared once too. I was quiet once too. I was scared of the unknown once too. But I'm here to tell you today that I made the decision to walk into the unknown and the big scary, and it's so fucking worth it. Like you can too. I know it's dangerous. I know it's scary, but I swear to you, if you can make it free and support yourself and stick to it no matter how hard it gets, that the life on the other side is so much more worth it than where you are choosing to be at every day.
Chills. Just all over.
I'm really proud of that poem. It's the first one I delivered memorized at my competition last week, couple weeks ago, and I beat out like 3 of the poets that I like consider my competition into the second round. I beat them out with that poem memorized.
That's awesome.
And it's exactly 3 minutes, and we have a 10-second grace period. So like I could not mess up. And yeah, so I can't wait to take that one even further. I'll send it to you after this.
Cool. Yes, please do. I think you might have sent it to me, or maybe it was a different one, but there was one recently that definitely gave me chills.
I love that.
Most of them do. You are an amazing writer.
Thank you.
I would like to talk about jet black for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why this episode is debuting when it is because it is Jet Black's birthday. And she was a burlesque performer who was important to both of us. You were much closer with her, so I'll let you tell a little bit about your experience of her. But she had a really big impact on the both of us and a lot of people in the DFW community.
Mm-hmm.
And she continues to influence pretty much everything I do. And so I thought that it would be a fitting part of my first podcast to dedicate a little bit of it to her.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me about a memory that you have with Jet?
I mean, obviously there's several. I remember so much, but right now the favorite one coming to mind is we did this. We were in a group called Hot House, which was queer femme, all body inclusive burlesque troupe. So kind of relatively newish. The closest thing I think to us as a brand was probably Fat Bottom Cabaret in Austin, but they were not burlesque dancers; they were cabaret dancers. As that part of that group, we went and did a photo shoot at this popular photo shoot spot in Dallas that had a bunch of graffiti on the walls and stuff, and very grungy kind of look. And Jet and I had so much fun getting dressed up for it and figuring out outfits, and like we drove together, and then we went to the mall after that and we took a picture together in like the Forever 21 mirror because we looked cute. But yeah, like I have quite a few photos from that memory, and
I still have
among
that
all the
card
small
on my
ones.
fridge.
Yeah,
Yep, I still have the Hot House card on my fridge.
I love it.
What do you feel was Jet's most defining quality as both as a person and a performer?
She would tell you she had anger issues, but I never saw that. Like
Bitch, where?
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm pretty sure that was not originating from you, my dear. But I love, like, you think about her and your heart swells up. It's that, like, she was adopted, she's been through so many surgeries and been in hospitals in and out so much that, like, we all turn into the adult that we wish us as a child had, right? And I think she was working on doing that. She wanted everybody to feel loved and cared for, never abandoned. She wanted to live a vivacious life, and that's exactly, I think, what she did. And it was infectious, and I really don't ever remember her being, like, self-conscious. It just she always felt confident, or like in a soft confidence way. It wasn't in your face.
I completely agree.
It's not, yeah, it was, I mean, she might have been insecure about things, but the way that she lived her life, she was confident in who she was and what she did and her impact on the world. She had her faults like everybody does, but the way that she loved the world was unique. I was gonna say, do you put a box of tissues next to you?
No.
I didn't either.
Actually, I did. Sorry. I thought I was gonna hold it together.
It's probably my fault. I'm a good writer and a good speaker about things, and it tends to.
Yes, I absolutely agree with that quiet confidence. It was never like a cockiness or like a arrogance or anything like that. It was just she knew who she was, and
She loved life and
When
everything
she
about
was
it.
there, you knew it. You
Mm-hmm.
knew she was there.
Just like you. I think that you and her both share that quality of like, I don't take life for granted. I'm going to do everything and anything regardless of where it takes me because I want to. I don't know how much
Yeah.
longer I have to do what I want to, so I'm going to do it now. And you taught me that. You kind of brought that to the forefront for me, and now I realize that she did the same thing.
Yeah, she's why everything pretty much. She's why I keep going and keep fighting when medical shit gets too much. She's why I even first started performing with my mobility aids. She was never like self-conscious or ashamed or anything to show her scars or anything. And it was it really, it continues to impact me, obviously, and is why I advocate so loudly, and why I'm adopting, and just my reason for a lot of things. She was amazing. How would you say that her life and influence shows up in your like daily life and in your art?
She's just constantly on my mind. Like every time I see my tattoo, I think about her. Every time I see
Mm-hmm.
Alice in Wonderland, I think about her. Every time I have her ashes in a little box that have pineapples on the top up on my shelf, and a little picture of her that we put on my works. My job is a Mexican restaurant. Every year we do an ofrenda for Dia de los Muertos. And so I always put a picture of her up there. And so she's got a little like picture about this big that travels around with her box wherever I go. I used to have a ring with her ashes in it, but it just got so beat up after, 6 years, 7 years, whatever it is now, that I've stopped. And I'm doing massage and doing and serving on the weekends. I can't do nails. I can't have rings. I can't. So I would much rather just like find another way to carry her with me, because that was the whole idea, was that I want you to go on all the adventures that I go on, because you live such a full life. You get to desert, I'm going to live on for you too, so you're going to come with me to all these things. And as the years have gone by, I haven't been so hard about it, but I would like to get some sort of different art, maybe a necklace instead of a ring, so that I can wear it where I go. But so I have like reminders of her everywhere. Anytime I see a pineapple, obviously I'm triggered,
Mm-hmm.
like not triggered, but pineapples I associate
Yeah.
with her automatically. And then I see her picture all the time. It just like every New Year's, she's always on my mind. Um, I haven't really found a like I've had decent New Year's Eves since then. And every year I think like this is the year that I don't want to be sad anymore. And but somehow it always like whether or not I'm sad, it still brings me back to her every time. Like
Mm-hmm.
the start of a new year, like that you don't get to be a part of. And I have a wedding at the end of this year where they're gonna have like a close knit, easygoing New Year's Eve. So I'm always looking for that like New Year's Eve tradition that feels right, and it never quite does.
Yeah.
It's gotten better, but it's still hard sometimes. But I don't know that I've really personified her in my art or included her in my art that I can think of off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's something. Like I've kept a lot of her craft stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
still have her sewing box, which is interesting because it's a little cloth sewing box, but she had one, and then my best friend from high school has one that she gave
Aw.
me. So I've got one with butterflies on it, and then I have jets, and it's just like it's a nice little thing to keep. It
Yeah.
actually, I think it's packed away right now. I put it in storage, but it's I think I still kept some of her index cards from when she was in school because it's got her handwriting on it. So I think I keep
Uh-huh.
those in her sewing box because it feels like she's still here.
Mm, I love that. Yeah, you had given me a necklace that had some of her ashes in it, on my wedding day, and it made me sob. Um, and I usually take that with me when I perform and take her on stage with me.
Yeah, she would love that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I still have, I kept a blue dress of hers. It's this blue wrap dress. And my ex-wife always said it was a grandma dress. But bitch, I still work it out, okay? Um, but no, I
You
don't,
can rock literally anything.
thank you. But this blue wrap dress, like, I would love to add rhinestones to it, and I can't bring myself to do it because I don't want to alter the state it was in when she gave it to me. I also have this red shirt that I've had for forever. I haven't worn it in forever, but I don't think I'll ever throw it away because Jet bought it for me. It was like this red, like it had cutouts. It even frames her tattoo really nicely. But it's like Renaissance looking kind of. It's got some bell sleeves or whatnot. I actually stopped wearing it because it got a little tight, but now that I've lost all this weight, I could probably try it on again if I still have it in my closet, which I think I do. But yeah.
Yeah, I think I have a couple of her clothing items as well.
Through the years, there were a couple, like there was this pair of heels that Nate said that I would want. I was like, I literally never saw her wear them. They're a size too big for me. I don't need to carry these everywhere. Like, this is one of those things that, like, I have enough of her stuff that can go.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got uh I really want to make like a little stuffed animal out of one of her t-shirts that I have.
Oh, that would be so cute.
But yeah, I also have pineapples all over my house, and I'm actually allergic to pineapples, so it's kind of funny. People are like, "Wait, aren't you allergic to pineapples? Why do you have pineapples everywhere?"
Well, you see.
Sit down on this chair, children.
Well,
Let
I
me
tell
tell
you a
you the
story.
story.
Yep. Of this magical unicorn.
And she was. Okay, to sum up this section, if you could describe Jet's legacy in what word, what would it be and why? I think I know what you're going to say.
It's not one word because I have to
Okay.
put these two words together for it to like
Okay.
not be redundant, but vibrant love.
Okay. I love that.
I think that
Yeah.
like she lived in living color, and I think those were the two bases of everything she did was being vibrant and colorful and also loving.
Yeah. And everybody felt it. Anytime she was near, it was.
She said hi to every new person that walked
Yep.
in all the time. Like, I really felt the disconnect in the community when she passed.
Absolutely. There still is a definite hole, and it is crazy that like when did she start performing? It was like 2013
I think
or
2012.
2015. Oh, okay. But it wasn't very long, and she still made so much of an impact, and it was definitely felt. There was a huge hole missing.
Her love was missing because
Yeah.
because she was like the glue in between everything. That, not to say that she didn't have her own bouts of drama or, you know, petty or cattiness or whatever that happens in the burlesque community, but like I feel like the queer burlesque community and performance community up there lost sight of its empathy when she passed. Like, I feel like people
I
just started
agree.
turning on each other left and right, and it became about vilification and public ridicule. And that community needs togetherness more than anything. And without it, like, we're all miserable. So to have that subtracted from that community, it just became all toxicity. There was no
Yeah.
love and light anymore or empathy. It was
Hmm.
just us against each other, which it should never be.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. And that is one of the main reasons why I decided to start this podcast. I want it to come out on Thursdays, which is the day that Glitter Bomb was. Um, and I want to talk to marginalized performers who don't often get as much of stage time as maybe some others, and just kind of be there for the community in the ways that I'm able to, because I am disabled and not really able to physically be present very often.
That consistency's hard. That
It really
consistency is
is.
tough, especially like I'm not even, I consider myself a relatively healthy individual these days, and I can't even, I have a hard time with making long-term commitments
Hmm.
because it's like I don't know if I'm going to be okay all the time. Like I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle that all the time. Um so it's taken some
Yeah.
learning.
That's why I'm trying to like batch record record like multiple episodes up front and schedule them to release so that I don't have to think about it for a while and I can be scheduling like as I go and not worry about missing an episode or whatever.
Yeah, just keep it in your back pocket. Kind of like I'm doing with my
Hmm.
internship schedule is like I don't need, I mean, I don't have to be put going balls to the wall with my hours for the next 3 weeks, but I am so that I can give myself that buffer
Hmm.
of like I know that there are going to be some days where this is too much. So if I need to cop out that day and give somebody who needs 300 hours those hours, I'm okay with it because I still have a little bit of time. You know, I've got that stocked up and saved up.
Yeah. Well, if it's okay with you, I'd like to talk about. I think we kind of already talked a lot about uh, your art post trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm wondering, like, how far into your healing journey were you able to start creating? Was it like immediate, or did it take some time for you to get to a place where you were
Mm.
able to start creating about it?
It's been a long time since I've been able to create. Um, I had a cane project that I took on right before I got divorced that took me 3 years to finish. And it tore me up. I eventually didn't charge the client at all. I had charged them like $50 up front for materials and ended up having to do so much trial and error over so many years and trying to like do it on the days I felt okay that were few and far between, so it took me so long.
Mm-hmm.
And when I finally finished it, I was so happy. I was like, I'm not charging you anything for this. I feel bad enough that this is now my reputation, but like, here's this. I'm so proud of it. Um, but I have been reading what I consider now my Bible, which is called The Body Keeps the Score. And it is written by a doctor who has like 30 years experience learning about the effects of trauma on the brain. And one of the big things that stuck out to me was the book is incredibly validating for me over and over and over again. I've highlighted so many things, and I plan to do like a set of poetry using each of those highlights as like a writing prompt, but haven't gotten to that yet. But one of the things that stuck out to me was that he was doing studies on Vietnam veterans who were diagnosed with PTSD. And he talks about how every brain reacts differently to a traumatic event. Before the veterinary, or sorry, oh my god, before the Vietnam vets, my best friend's a veterinary, and I'm crossing lines here. He had done a study on this couple who was in a car accident together, and the one person went into fight and flight, and the other person went into freeze. They were like trying to get out of this car that was sinking or something. And when he scanned their brains in regards to the memory of the event, she had nothing. Like, no recollection, brain went blank, does not have any recollection, memory, nothing imprinted at all, because her brain just shut down. Whereas the guy can remember it in vivid detail. His heart starts to race, his blood pressure goes up, he's sweating like he was in that moment. Like, it just, the trauma reaction that happens in the body is going to be different from person to person. But when it came to these Vietnam soldiers who, as the doctor explains, had lost their ability to play. And that has been such a profound phrase in the last 4 years of my life, because in this healing journey, I felt like I had lost that. I'm a big kid. I like coloring. I like eccentric outfits. I like crazy style. I like nothing cookie cutter. I don't want to live in a normal house. I want to live in a shipping container or a tree house or a school bus. Like, I don't like normal cookie cutter things. And I felt like I lost my color in my relationships. So working to try and, as I personify it to people, it's you're pulling the different frayed threads of your sweater that has built who you are and finding out where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
And then just kind of laying it to the side going, okay, now I know where that comes from. And then pulling the next thread. It's like it weaves the fabric of who you are. And then once you understand how you got here, it's way easier to live life. You're not fighting your own emotions anymore. You're giving yourself grace and forgiveness to look at yourself and go, oh, there's a reason why I am the way I am. I'm not just going to beat myself up for being this way. I'm going to learn how to fix it so that I'm no longer that person. I want to be proud of who I am and the things that make me, and this might be going a little off topic here, I'm sorry. But like when I left my relationship, I sat down and I was like, who do I think I am? I've been told over and over again the perception of me, and I've taken that on as my identity. So like, who actually am I? Who do I want to be? How do I become that person in my own head? Because all that matters is what I think of me, right? Not anybody else. But it's like when I look at the specific actions that I take from day to day, do those make me kind? Do those actions make me empathetic? Do those actions make me reliable? Do those actions, and just thinking about the different adjectives I would like to describe myself with and having the facts and the behaviors to back it up and to prove it. Part of that's probably also trauma of being able to like prove something, but it's your ability to play and create and be silly and laugh are all things that I learned throughout theater, of being vulnerable, being able to laugh at yourself, being able to be self-aware. Actors, you can see it between Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. They can so quickly tune into that vulnerability frequency where so many other people can't, because so many other people resist those emotions. They're taught to shove them down, pack them up. We don't do emotions. Whereas actors are trained to like live in that space. So it's so easy for us to tune into the vulnerability. And I think that a lot of people are performers and actors because we can tune into that frequency so well, and we want to show other people that that's okay, that that's safe, that you can do that. But people who are traumatized or don't do the work to figure out why they are the way they are, do what they do, I think that they get lost in the sauce, I guess. They get lost in, this is the way society's programmed me to be, and that's the way it has to be. Like parents who get all indignant about like, well, my child, I didn't get that when I was a kid, so my child doesn't need it. But wouldn't it have been nice if you had it? Like, why would you want to make your child suffer the way you suffered? I don't understand that logic.
Yep, I don't either.
But it's because they're not capable of being that vulnerable, of sitting with their feelings. They push them away or they fight them, and that's where the discomfort for everyone comes from. So, like, the more we have the ability to play and create art, the healthier we're going to be. But you have to dig far enough to get there.
I love that. I really appreciate you being vulnerable here with me and with my audience. I loved getting to talk to you and catch up and hear a little bit more of your story. Howdy, folks. Sorry, the end of this video cut out for some reason. I lost the last minute or so. I just wanted to hop on and say thank you so much for watching the first episode of Drag and Burlesque Diaries. And be sure to follow us on Instagram at DNB Diaries. Be sure to follow Casey on TikTok. You can find her at Strawberry Jan, Jan 31. Also, our intro song is provided by Mel Dyer. Be sure to follow them and check the host notes for all of the links and stuff. And be sure to check back next month for our second episode. A huge thank you to Casey for joining us for this first episode, and to all of you for sticking around and watching it. I hope to see you again soon. And I don't have a sign off yet, but love you, bye!